week 2. So just going to do a quick video of the things coming this week. I hope that you enjoyed your first share and hopefully are looking forward to number 2 of 5. In the little video that I just shot and probably put before this, you can see the full tunnel of the old tunnel. Things are getting big and growing really well in here, but the thing at the very beginning that was purple is the head lettuce that will actually be included this week. This is what's considered like a bib lettuce. It has like a bigger leaf that's cupped. So when I get to kind of the meal ideas, I'll share with you maybe an alternative way of using that isn't just a salad, but as always, you have lovely salad options. I apologize for the background noise. Hopefully this isn't going to be too bad, but it's harvest season for our regular farmers as well. And we have ground that's ours to the side and to the back. And they are harvesting corn this evening. So our corn curtains are going down. So anyway, to get on with the show, what I have behind me is fennel. So hopefully you can sort of see this. These are 2 fennel bulbs, 1, 2. The bulbs are here, stalks, and these little frilly bits are called the fennel fronds. Fennel has, if you eat the fronds, it's like a black licorice-y kind of flavor. You can use it in pasta dishes, specifically like Italian dishes, as a regular seasoning. And also just if you kind of like that flavor, a little goes a long way. I use the stalks as similar to like what I would use celery with in a soup base. So if you're planning to make a beef stew or like a chicken noodle soup or something like that, like you could use that as part of your seasoning. If you don't want to do that, you obviously don't have to, but those are ways to use the whole plant. The bulb itself of fennel is generally what people are using. And this is a little bit of a weird vegetable, so I get that. Perhaps this is one that you have not tried before. And so you'll get 2 fennel bulbs in your share this week, just as something to kind of try with it. So far we got lettuce and fennel. Not to duplicate too terribly much, but there's going to be some arugula in there as well. And hopefully by also having the fennel in, I'll give you a meal idea or a possibility of something you can do that will be different than how you used this last week. Don't anticipate arugula every week. I try hard not to like repeat the exact same thing, but it's still producing. And to me, this is a nice little add-in where it can be done. The last thing in this tunnel is this buttercup squash. So you'll either get like 2 if they're this size. If they're bigger, you'll get 1. Buttercup squash, when you cut it, is going to be a very, very bright orange kind of center to it. And buttercup squash is supposed to be one of like the most sweet kind of winter squashes, which is nice. It will be really good if you want to roast it. You can cube it and cook it and add it into dishes. If you really wanted to do something fancy and make either a soup or have it as part of like a dessert, it's sweet enough you could do those kinds of things with it too. I have a meal idea with that as well. We're gonna pop over to the other tunnel. I'm actually gonna have to get all of this tucked back in and then pop over to the other tunnel because we've got 2 things in there that will be part of your share as well. And then I'll throw some meal idea options out there so that maybe you have some thoughts on something you'd like to do with your veggies this week. Okay, so did my workout and got the old tunnel wrapped back up, came in here, and fortunately only had to undo just a little bit to kind of get to what I needed. Just as a heads up, this white fabric that you see over the top of the plants is called frost fabric. It's basically like a little baby blanket. The high tunnel, I mentioned this last time, is not heated, and so it provides an extra layer of frost protection in the sense of it will hold heat a little bit more. Even as we get really, really cold, the tunnel itself is generally anywhere from, I don't know, 10 to 15, possibly even 20 degrees warmer, just depending on like the sunlight and all that good stuff, and how cold and blowing and how open it was left and all that. The frost fabric that we have on here right now is serving a twofold purpose. Number one, it helps with bugs. So it is a physical barrier from having bugs get onto the plants and eat them. And so this is another way that we manage pests in the tunnel. And number two, it adds another little layer of warmth. Now today was actually a pretty warm day. So it was pretty warm for the plants today, but it's not necessarily a bad thing because in the evenings it's been dropping down cool enough. And this time of year, what we're battling or maybe just contending against on the regular is not only is our light decreasing, but our temps are cooling off, and plants don't grow optimally in either of those. Like, they will not grow the fastest in cool weather. So this is just another way to help. This is also something that as they get mature, we leave it on because it protects from frost. It will add somewhere between like 4 to 8, I think, degrees of extra warmth, which when it gets really, really cold is a lot. So super quick, I'm just going to go through the couple of things in here. This is called Purple Lady Bok Choy. And so you can kind of see, hopefully, this is like a skinnier stalk, big, broad, purpley leaves. It's a really beautiful plant. And this is an Asian green. It's technically what's in the mustard family, but to me, bok choy does not have a super mustardy flavor. Later on in the share, I have a larger variety that I will be offering, but this is what I would call like a good starter, especially if you've never had bok choy before. This is like a good little head of it. That's more petite. And so a pretty head of Purple Lady Bok Choy will be coming in your share this week. Additionally, we're going to have some kale. And so our kale plants are becoming more and more mature. Sorry, my videoing is not fantastic this evening, but that's what happens. And so you'll get some kale to go along with it. I will be honest with you, kale is one of my absolute favorite vegetables. We eat it regularly when it's in season like this, and it's a quick saute to make a side. It's something that you can add into dishes. I can eat it as a standalone. You can eat it raw. You can eat it cooked. It's a beautiful vegetable. So just so you have a couple of meal ideas for this week, my handy dandy list, so don't forget anything. If you ordered eggs with your share, you'll be getting your eggs. If you got meat as part of your share, what's coming this week is ground pork sausage, and they will be in 1 pound packages, and so you'll get 2 of those. And so I'm offering kind of like ideas that might use not only the vegetables, but also the pork if you would like to do that. Or if you aren't getting it, then it's still something that you could get elsewhere. Or if you'd like to buy some from us, you can. We still have some. So a couple of different ideas. If you'd like to use the fennel and the arugula a little bit differently, you can do a quick Goog on fennel arugula pizza. This would be like a homemade pizza. I actually have a pesto in the freezer from some basil that I made pesto from earlier this year. So like a basil sauce, mozzarella cheese, use some of the ground pork, and then you can caramelize some of the fennel, slice it real thin, caramelize it, throw it on top, bake all that good stuff, and then at the very end you pull it out and then you toss some arugula on the top of it. Perhaps a little fancier pizza than what your kids are used to or what you're used to eating, but I think kind of like a cool option to be able to use it and changes some of those flavors in general. Additionally, if you'd like to make a salad, arugula, fennel, and sliced like Granny Smith kind of apples, green apples, would be super delicious with like a Parmesan kind of cheese, a lemon vinaigrette kind of dressing. If you do that in a Google search as well, you'll find some really awesome options that come up. And so those are different ways to use the fennel and arugula. So maybe you're not just like going, what the heck, this again. The buttercup squash. So the last time I had buttercup squash a few weeks ago, I cut it in half, scooped out the seeds, baked it upside down until it was soft, and then I added some couscous to it, like herb flavored couscous. You could do rice. You could add the sausage to it. If you'd like to chop up some of your bok choy and saute that, or put it in there and let it cook in the oven like that, that would be a way to do like a stuffed squash using that. I also saw some information online about like a noodle recipe that used butter nut squash, but you could sub the buttercup, and then it had purple bok choy, and it was like a noodly, It sounded really good, but it honestly looked to be a little bit more than what I wanted to do for a weeknight. The last thing I have on my list is wraps. So sausage, rice, again, you could chop and roast or chop and saute your buttercup squash, and then bok choy as well. Put that in that Bibb lettuce wrap and have it as like a wrap for dinner instead of just salad. A tried and true in my family, in our household that we eat regularly with kale specifically, is a frittata. So your eggs, the sausage, add some cheese to your liking. Mozzarella is a good choice. Swiss is a great choice. Cheddar can be kind of greasy, but if that's your thing, then do it. Saute the kale a little bit. Brown your sausage. If you like mushrooms, if you want to add anything else in there, you just kind of do all that. Let it cool. Beat your eggs. Add some half and half or heavy whipping cream or milk if that's what you have. Throw that bad boy in a little ceramic baking dish and 45-ish minutes in the oven. It can either be a breakfast, it's regularly a dinner in my household, but it's a really good way to use up sausage and kale. You could also throw some squash in there if you really wanted to. So, sorry, this video is a little bit longer than what I had initially planned. Those are quite a few ideas for how to use everything. I hope you are enjoying. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, please let us know. We are so grateful that you are part of our CSA this season, and hope you enjoy your veggies this week. Bye.